Hello, buddy, and a very warm welcome to Ask the Accountant Cool Friends. It's been a while since we've done a Cool Friends episode. So we thought if we're going to do a Cool Friends episode, let's make it a cool location at the same time. And does it get any cooler than this backdrop here?
I mean, look, we thought we had a good view from the office. And, you know, like, well, we do. Let's just rub it in a bit.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this is something else, right? You've got the Shard directly behind us. You've got Tower Bridge, HMS Belfast. You've got just like an unbelievable amount of... This is one of the best parts of London to be looking down on, because you can see so many things all in one 360.
Yeah, and we've had to do this, right? Because we've now lost our Brewdog Cool Friends location. But actually,
R.I.P.
that could be...
R.I.P. Brewdog.
Could be, exactly, that could be an absolute blessing in disguise. Because that means we get to go to locations like this and talk to people like Phil. Now, Phil, you have been a long time coming on the show. This has been one of those requests we've had on many occasions. I know
Mostly from me.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, including yourself, but we don't want to. There has been others in the community asking and suggesting that how can we have a Cool Friends series and not include the legend that is Phil?
I've asked at least once.
Yeah, exactly right. You were
I'm quite touched, guys.
You were the first Pit Stop podcast guest we ever had. We kind of built the format around you.
Oh, wow. I mean, sorry.
And this is your opportunity to get yourself a coveted, and I mean coveted, top trump card, which I know not only do you want, but also you want to beat a certain Chris Downing at a little game that we play at some point in time.
Honestly, I cannot tell you how much this has been on my want list. I mean, it's up there more than Oasis tickets, more than Hamilton tickets, more than anything. This is the number one. Like, and in the year of my 50th birthday, what a present to bring.
What birthday
Many
gift.
happy
I know, right?
returns on that one. Right, Phil, who are you? Why are you here?
That's a good question. So my name is Phil Hobden. I've been working with accountants in this space for about 10 years now. I've worn a few different T-shirts in my time. I've worked with Futurely back in the day. I went and worked with Capitalise. And now I find myself at Sage. And I am head of customer advocacy here at Sage, which is a really cool job title. But what it means is I get to focus my attention on getting people to understand what we're doing here at Sage and kind of look at what we're doing again. And I actually think that's really exciting, because I think where we are is really exciting, right? The space is really exciting. I think it's so different to where it was 3 or 4 years ago. And I think we as a business are different. So, yeah, that's kind of me. And why am I here? Because I've been begging you for it for so long that finally you've given up.
So what you've got to do, though, is rewind now. Now, I appreciate that at your advanced age, it'll be difficult to think back this far.
Well, yesterday.
But, yes. Where does the Phil Hobden professional journey begin? So you've been working with accountants in this space for about 10 years, but that would have put you at, 72 years old at that point?
Exactly.
So
right.
You've got a decent chunk of career history. Well, the problem is he looks so young. If he didn't have the beard, you would think he was about 30, because he, eats like an unbelievably clean vegan diet and runs about 500 miles a week or something stupid.
Used to be fair, I haven't run for a while.
Just before you answer that, Phil, and just as a pro tip here, when we're doing these Cool Friends episodes, we're supposed to go down on the age. So normally at this point you do a little bit of, you look 21, Phil. You know what I mean? 72 was a tad.
I built him up so I could bring him back at the end. You see?
Yeah,
I like it.
I mean, thanks for
Phil,
that. So,
Phil, go for it.
Look, I went to university back in, I would say, the heydays of the mid-90s, right? So I was at the peak of Britpop and Blairism and like Tier 5 Friday generation, and I still think to this day it's possibly one of the best periods of this country.
Absolutely.
Optimistic. We had optimism back then.
Yeah.
And now we have... Yeah. So I think it was an amazing time. My dream was always to work in film and television, right? And I came out of university and I realised that was going to be a hard slog. So I ended up doing I actually went to work for a cross-channel ferry for a little bit.
Oh, wow.
I get seasick. So
Yeah, okay.
you imagine that was a fun 2 years. And then I set up my own business and we ran a film media company for about 5-6 years.
Really?
Made a couple of feature films that were released, UK martial arts action films. Yes, they are still available. No, I don't recommend watching them.
Do you
Most of
star
them-
in them, or is it purely
I
production?
do feature in them.
Oh, you
Yeah, it's the
feature
problem
them
when
as
you're
well?
making films for no money is you also have to be in them as well.
We'll
Yeah.
put the Netflix link in the comments.
Actually, one of them is on Tubi. I kid you not, in the
There
UK.
we
So you can watch
are.
it for free. I mean, that's even better.
No, I will buy the DVD.
Oh, okay,
Or
fine.
Or VHS.
I don't get any money from it, so just pirate it. It's fine. Genuinely, I get nothing. So just get it for free from wherever you can. Someone else is getting that money. Don't give it to them. But then, we were getting to the point where we were having a family, and I realised I had to get a proper job. And one thing I've always been good at is talking sales.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing some sales jobs. I ended up working in financial services, and I joined financial services with full of optimism around 2008. I was going in going, this is a career for life. This is going to be the best thing ever. This is, oh dear.
We've heard it so many times.
Yeah, and it all went wrong. I was made redundant 4 times from one bank. And
4 times from the same.
I kept getting new roles, and that team kept getting shut down.
Oh,
It wasn't me
no.
personally.
Yeah.
I don't think anyway.
But by the third one, they probably thought, "Oh God, they've put Phil on our team. We'd all better start looking for a box to put our desk stuff in."
It's not. You're not wrong. You're not far from the truth. And so it got to a point where I was like, the rumours were coming again. Another department was getting shut down, and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
So I just looked online. I said, well, actually, there must be something in the local area. And I came across this job advert for a company whose name I couldn't pronounce. I had no idea what an accountant did, other than my experience running my business, which was not great. It was me trying to do my own accounts, messing it up spectacularly, and then having to go to an accountant and get charged a fortune to put everything right that I did wrong. Top tip, don't do that. Don't do the first part. Definitely go to the accountant part. I met this amazing person called Helen, and she sold me this dream of this job, and I thought, okay, I don't know what accountants do. I don't understand the software, and I can't say the name. But she did tell me I'd never have to wear a suit again, and I could have a MacBook
There we are. There.
in.
Sold.
And that was it. And that's my journey into the accounting tech space. That was with Futurely, and then that kind of launched me to where I am today, and what I really, really enjoy doing.
Awesome. So those first few weeks, months, years in the Futurely role, then, like how big a transition was it? Because there must be people out there thinking maybe going into the vendor space, and they'll always have the advantage of, we assume they're already accountants and bookkeepers, right? That tends to be our market audience. But hey, there could be someone out there who's not or looking to. How was that transition for you to get into this industry? What do you think? There's anything different, or do you think there's anything you've got to keep an eye on, or?
I would suggest I learned a really important lesson really early on. I tried to do sales calls in January.
Right, yeah.
Oh no.
It's a busy time, that one.
Yeah, I found that out. I can't exactly say the words I was told, but it certainly wasn't the yes, we'll buy the product.
Should have called Tim. He does nothing in January. He sits around waiting for the phone call to ring.
Yeah, it's the most boring month of my life.
There's your top tip number 2: phone Tim and sell to him in January. But it wasn't adaptation, right? I had to so not only was I learning the technology side and the financial side, and I had bits of it, right? I've always been a tech person. I was taking computers apart and building games in BASIC when I was like 15 on the ZX Spectrum. So I've always had that interest, but what I didn't do is have that kind of understanding of the practical uses of it, and then combining that with the accounting market. So I learned a lot. I came across some amazing people that kind of did different things to help me on my journey. Like, I remember trying to sell to Chris Downing back in the day.
Again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Oh no.
Yeah, it was Chris was great because he actually, in a weird way, helped educate me a little bit into kind of the industry and what it was. And there was a few people that kind of gave me these tips along the way, but I think so for me, I think it's a really important space, but you have to come in and you have to understand the accountants, right? And understand when's a good time to call, when's not a good time to call, what you guys are trying to do and how we fit in with that. Because the other thing I learned really quickly is, and this was like at the height of the app store craze in this industry, like there was a lot of apps, there's a lot of software and a lot of people selling. So you really had to work out and hone that pitch and make sure you were better than everyone else, because otherwise there were so many people selling and so many people kind of going after the accountant market. So I think certainly if you're coming into it from an industry perspective, from an accountant perspective, you've got massive advantage because you understand, you can talk the language. I had to learn the basics of accounting, plus technology, plus everything else. And it was It's a bit of a rocket ship couple of months at the beginning.
I can
it's fair
imagine.
to say.
Yeah.
It's probably the most serious answer I've ever given to a question.
Yeah, exactly. What was the thing when you came into the industry, when you first joined Futurely, that surprised you the most about the industry and about accountants and bookkeepers that you maybe hadn't expected?
I thought you all wore tweed. I thought you all wore really sensible shoes, and I thought you all went to bed by 9:30. And then I went to my first con experience, and I was like, oh wow, okay, it's not that industry. Like it was really interesting, like how small the industry is as well. So like a load of people knew a load of people. So it was really good for introductions and referrals, because if actually someone liked you, or you got on with someone and you did a good job for them, they'd refer you. So that was something that really surprised me. But yeah, mostly like it's quite a rock and roll industry, and I try to explain that to people, and they go, "Really? Like,
You
no,
sure?
it genuinely is."
They're always surprised, right? Every time like we come over for like account text or anything like that, and people go, "Oh God, yeah, that sounds exciting." We're like, "Yeah, it is actually." Like, shut up.
I know it's mad. Like I remember like one Accountex, like 5 after parties, getting in at really late in the morning. I don't do that anymore. Clean living and all that.
He does.
But no, but like I was really surprised, and the industry's got that kind of play hard, work hard mentality, which is great. I think it's softened. I think it's got a bit more professional than maybe it was back when I started, and I don't think that's a bad thing, by the way. I think it's kind of leveled up a bit, and I think that's a good thing. But I still think it's got a little bit of that rock and rollness about it, and I love that. Right?
Yeah.
It's not what you expect. So that was definitely my biggest. Like I came to Accountex, and there were people in like accountants in trainers and t-shirts and hoodies, and I'm like, yay! That's
not
cool.
what I expected.
That's
yeah.
not what I mean. There were a few people in tweed suits.
There are still people in tweed suits. It's surprising how often you still see people in suits at Accountex.
But it's almost like a fashion statement now, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's almost
well, maybe.
they're,
It's gone the
they're
other way.
standing out for a different reason. Do you know what I mean? Like they've kind of got it's their personality.
They're all accountants, not bookkeepers.
See, the other thing I learned.
I'm going to find you a bookkeeper that's a tweed now.
The other thing I learned was how much accountants like swag.
Yeah,
They, oh my God,
And
swag.
it's not just the people who go there, to these events, because normally you get your decision makers there, right? And your practice managers and all those sort of people are normally the ones. There's a few exceptions, but normally it's it. But when I get to go to the events, I normally have a shopping list, and it's like, oh, you couldn't get me a new umbrella now, could you? Or
Yeah,
I want a pen,
from the
2
team.
notebooks,
Yeah.
an umbrella. I want a power
Mint.
bank, socks.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, I still remember back a specific event for another vendor where it was very cold and we got hit by the beast from the east.
Yeah,
Where
I remember,
where another app went out and bought a load of like the crackable hand warmers, 200 of them, and then put stickers on for their logo, and they were giving them out as merch. And you kind of go, that's
Fair
like
play.
that's next level, right?
Yeah, that's a good pivot. That.
Yeah, I thought that's been creative.
So with the events industry, now we touched on it, it's fair to say you've been to a fair few of them.
One or two
of them. How do you see the event industry at this point in time? Are you feel like there's kind of like the right amount? Do you feel like we're covering enough? Do you feel like there's anything else we could do better? What's your view on it at this point in time?
I think it's a really good question, because actually, when you think about it, by the way, the advantage of filming out in London, you probably can hear the sirens in the background.
Sirens.
There you go.
So if you drive in, please.
Yeah, it's probably not me. Well, hopefully it's not for us. But it's the event industry is really interesting, because I think actually what's good now is they're spread out a bit.
Yeah.
There was a year when you had Fab bouncing into DAS, bouncing into Accountex, bouncing into another. It's tiring for accountants, but it's tiring for vendors as well.
Yeah.
And like we do, because it's not just the day of the show, right? It's the
No,
day
100%.
before, it's the day after, it's going
And if
there.
it's a 2-day show, it's the day after that as well.
Yeah, and it's the evening and everything that goes around it, and it can be really tiring.
And then you get like TCS nagging you to come to their after party.
Yeah, exactly that.
And
right.
you have all the follow-ups you need to make to get the return on investment,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Like,
And if you're bouncing from event to event to event, you don't really have that breadth to then stop and do that.
Yeah, I think I think it was last year where they were all so close, because Fab was like there was Engager Labs last year as a one-off, and then there was Fab.
Alternative events as well happened around that time.
We're not big enough
You're
to
not,
invite that.
But but you've got
Do you know
alternative.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But yes,
You're
like,
right.
Then Fab
100% right. Yeah.
and then Fab, and then DAS was like 3 weeks after
Yep.
Fab, and then Accountex was like 3 weeks after DAS.
Yeah.
It was
and then
bang,
there was something
bang,
else
bang,
and something
one
else.
after
And now it's a bit more spread out. I think it's good. I think what's good is we've got events now are kind of falling into an identity. So Fab has now got a bit more of an identity than it's had previously, and I like that. I think it's really great because it attracts a lot of the smaller firms and bookkeepers, and it has a bit more of a kind of a relaxed vibe about it. Accountex is still the behemoth, right? In a great way. It's big. There's everything there. It's this big festival for 2 days, and then you've got DAS, which now's moved out to October, and I think that's great for DAS because actually what it gives is that kind of big showcase at the end of the year, and I think that's really good.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna miss Battersea.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
Battersea
me too,
eventually. I mean, I didn't love it the year it was really hot and everyone went outside.
Yeah.
And as a vendor, you're stood inside going, "Hello, we've paid a fortune for this stand. Can someone
As
come
a
talk to us?"
vendor, you should have picked your stand up and took it outside.
Well, I mean, I did go out and start giving out merch. I was like, right, I know what to do here. But so I think it's good. I think, I think the big events have got it nailed. I think the brand events probably need looking at again. I think some of the bigger events aren't maybe where they sit now. The software development route has changed and everything else.
Yeah.
What I'm really enjoying doing here with Sage is doing more experience-led events. So taking small groups of people and doing something fun.
Yeah.
So we did an event at the Golden Hind, which is not a million miles away from where we are now, around AI, based around the fact that the Hind was a pioneering boat that broke new ground, and we've linked it to AI. We did Bustronome, which is a gourmet bus that goes around London, and you have a five-course meal on a bus. We did a walking tour in Belfast in the middle of February. You can imagine what that was like.
Cold.
Wet. But we bought umbrellas, and we had the best
Were they
attendance we've
Sage
ever
umbrellas
had.
by any chance?
They were Sage
Branded,
umbrellas.
fully branded.
Oh, yes, they were.
Sage jackets, Sage North Face bags.
Oh, we should have done that.
Yeah.
And then, like we've got some other events coming up as well. And I think it's stuff like that where I think there's a real niche for doing something fun, different, experiential. That's not necessarily focused around a product or an item, but it's focused about just getting people to understand the brand.
Yeah.
And understand what we're doing. And I always think like you do these events, you do a 5-minute quick pitch, and then that's it. And then you leave it. And then you let people experience the event and have fun and network and talk to each other. Because whilst there are loads of networks in this industry and loads of groups, it never fails to surprise me when I get accountants and bookkeepers together in one place, how much they enjoy talking and exchanging ideas and everything else. And for me, that's brilliant.
Yeah. So after you left Futurely, you went straight to Silverfin?
Capitalise.
Capitalise.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's fine.
How was Capitalise?
I love Capitalise.
What
Capitalise
was the best
is
thing about Capitalise?
do you know what? It was a great team, and I think one of my favourite things is still Paul Surtees, who still runs Capitalise, and he was such a calm and great boss to work with. And even during COVID, because obviously our business model was that we were providing lending to clients via accountants, right? Yeah. Now during COVID, that dried up overnight.
Yeah, I bet.
So we ended up doing this whole, we ended up going, well, actually, this is a weird situation because the government's about to give loads of money, free effectively, but whatever. And we can't monetize that. You can't take a commission off of that. It's really, we were really unclear. And I just remember Paul sitting us all down over Zoom, obviously, and just saying, look, at the moment, let's not worry about us. Let's worry about making sure that we are supporting the industry and we're supporting businesses, and then we'll work out what we do afterwards. And he really kind of just stopped and said, actually, we're going to put forward we're going to put to the front all these people that need our help and support, and we'll work out our side of it, but let's do what's right for the accountants, let's do what's right for the businesses. And that always stuck with me because commercially, we weren't sure what the model was going to be and how we were going to work out of that. But actually, I just thought that was such a great way of doing it. And that was really kind of how Paul rolled. So that was like great team, great people, but actually Paul was
A
great.
lot of people did, similar things in COVID. Some people were horrid and sort of said, no, thanks, I'm looking out for myself. But it was surprising how many firms just said, okay, well, let's not worry about where the money's coming from for a bit. Let's
guys were
look
heroes.
after each other and try and make sure make sure our clients had what they needed. And then you guys obviously didn't affect us in Guernsey, but in the UK you had to relearn all the furlough rules every 4 days or so.
Exactly.
Every day there was a new rule.
Learn how to say it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God!
Exactly.
Literally, I've never
off.
had a word that no one knew how to say that was then said so much. But you guys were heroes, right? I think Helen coined the phrase that accountants became like the fourth or fifth emergency service. I don't want to step on the Coast Guards or the AA or whatever, whoever's the fourth.
7th, 9th, 12th emergency
But you know what I
service.
mean. You were the 999 for small businesses, and I think that's so true that so many accountants actually did put themselves behind their clients and really stepped up. And I think it really showed the value that accountants bring, just in general, but how selfless so many of you were to kind of say, actually, no, we're going to support our clients. We'll worry about the rest, but actually, if you guys are okay, then we're okay. But if you're not, then we've got a wider problem.
Yeah, you've got bigger issues.
Bigger fish to fry, right? So I always thought that was amazing. Again, if you go back to the why I'm still in this industry after a few T-shirts and a few jobs, right? Like for me, it's that. Like accountants are amazing people to work with because you really do have your clients kind of best at heart and kind of supporting them, and not every industry can say that.
Yeah, and I think what you've shown as well, like when you're in the industry, you're in that vendor-led world, there's definitely skill sets that are going to go and be transferable because you went from a really cool piece of tech, Futurely, to Capitalize, which, great platform and everything, but not really the tech side, it's not really driving it.
Yeah,
all that
100%.
much.
Yeah.
And then we'll come on to it next. And Silverfin, another hugely powerful software-led and product-led, and that's what sells it, right? It's this sexy product that's going through, and you've shown that as you've been jumping around, there must be skills there that you've taken from each one and moved it. How's that been? Because presumably it's not the end of the world that you didn't learn the product inside out and every aspect of it, because you've got a team to support you on that, right?
Yeah, look, I mean, I always used to say knowing the product's important and knowing what the product can do, but knowing the in and outs of the product, that's never been my forte, right? Like I can talk about the product, I can be passionate, I can bring people on a journey.
Yeah.
But if you're relying on me to kind of push the product forward, that's not my bag. And that's why at Silverfin, all the customer service side were accountants in previous lives, right?
Wow.
Because the accountants can show you how to use the product, how it works, how it comes to life. And I think that's really smart. Like, have that kind of real technical side. So because I can tell you, like, I could build a three-way forecast on Futurely, right? I could do that, no problem. But actually, the more technical stuff, get someone else in to do it. Same as Silverfin, get someone else in to do it.
Because having accountants on your team at places like Silverfin means that when an idiot me is stuck, the person you're talking to help you out actually knows your whole problem.
Yeah.
So they're not just going to follow the technical sensation. Oh, what this person needs to do is delete this line item here. They're going to go, kind of think like you need to actually reverse that instead, because you don't want to delete it, because you know what happens if you delete it. It's that kind of thing.
Exactly,
Like
and
have
I
the
can't have that
technical
conversation.
expertise. No.
Yeah, I can't. I can look at a product from a product perspective. I can't look at it from an accounting perspective. And again, like Silverfin, one of the strengths of that business was it was founded by an accountant. Most of the UK team, the product team, were accountants at some point. That gives a really good technical depth to a product and a technical understanding to a product. It's like Sage, right? Like one of the things that's kind of helped Sage over the past 5 odd years is having someone like Chris here, right? Because Chris is an accountant. He understands how the software works and where it sits. Now I can go in and kind of help you see why it's a great bit of kit, what we can do to support you and everything around that. But actually having someone like Chris in the product side, that's going to make sure that our true north always stays focused on the accountant and the business and what they're doing.
Nice.
Love that. So you brought up Chris, I think a friend of the show, so we've got to bring him into this play. And
Original cool friend.
The original cool friend.
Oh,
exactly.
Was he the original?
He was.
He's got the only T-shirt.
Originally, we did T-shirts for the cool friends.
And then you realise it's far too expensive.
we suddenly-
Preach.
Then we looked at our accounting selves as like, actually,
Oh dear.
Our own balance sheet is not. Our
Can't
ego is
sustain
right.
this.
To quote Top Gun, one of my favourite films, our ego is writing checks our body can't cash.
Basically, yes.
100%. But Chris, and this is more of a, I want you to kind of maybe unpick a myth or a think of the industry that might not be so true, but bear with me on this one. So I see Chris as one of those, in a quote of a term of football, he's a one club man, right? He's sage through and through. So this is a guy who's had that one hat and that one T-shirt, and he's worn that religiously all the way through. And hopefully that's where his career will end.
Yeah,
That'll be a
long may it rain.
Yeah, that'll be a lovely story, right? And then we've got, in the nice possible way, people like yourself who's been to a few different vendors. You know, you've had a journey to go through, and we'll carry on with that journey as we go along. But from the outside looking in, it's very much accountants, bookkeepers. We think, oh, there's no way a Zero and a Sage person could talk to one another. That's they're enemies. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way they could have a friendship or anything else. But when I see you as the ultimate. The thing I see about you more is that network that you have, and you to me are someone who kind of almost looks after other vendors. You keep their interests at heart. You fight for them in places. You'll have their back. I've known a few times when a vendor's like said, yeah, I spoke to Phil and I spoke to him about it. He was on the phone to, and we've sorted it out, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like you've been that support network for them. Is it a myth? Do you guys have this hatred to one another? Do you like us accountants and bookkeepers? Obviously, we pick a side, and that's it. If people have got the wrong software choice, I just don't talk to them, right?
I'm surprised you two could even. I thought I was going to have to sit in the middle of you two. To be fair.
Well, the thing is that they're both green, right? So there's a bit of common ground there.
Do you know what? It's a really interesting question, and the answer is. It is mostly a myth, right? Like when we go to Accountex, I will go over and chat to other software and other technology guys, right? And I'll sit there and people that I've known for 10 years, I'll sit there and have a conversation. I'll be on their stand.
Yeah.
And they'll
so
come
you
over to
don't
me
burn
and
combust.
No. I mean, I don't like. There's no effigy at Christmas, right?
Which is weird, right? Because
Why would you have an effigy at Christmas? I'm thinking bonfire night, right? Wrong holiday.
There's some people in the industry who do behave like that.
Yeah,
right?
there is, right?
So there's, I won't mention any names, obviously, but there's one that has often sponsored one of the parties after Accountex, and then they won't let anyone that's affiliated with any other accounting brand into the building.
It's a really interesting thing, right? Like my view of it is we are one industry and one ecosystem, right? And if there was no competition, we would be worse off because innovation stifles. Competition drives innovation. Competition drives better pricing. Competition drives us to need to be better. And, if you look at the Sage journey, right? We were kind of overtaken by some of the young pretenders that came through. And now we've kind of got to go out there and be better. We've got to lift our game up, get a better product. We've got to work harder to kind of get people to look at us again and reconsider what we're doing and have another look at the software, right? So I think having that competition is really important.
Yeah.
I don't own Sage, right? Like Ian doesn't own Xero and like Tom doesn't own QuickBooks, right? Like I can quite happily go and have a conversation with these guys. And they're people I've known for years. Off the back of this, like some people know this, some people don't, but I also run a tech community. So I've got a community on Slack with 120 vendors in it, like some from the same company. So probably maybe 80 vendors, right? And that's from a whole sway. And there are competitors to everyone in that group. But what's interesting is we use that group to communicate, we use that group to ask for support and help, and we use that group to solve problems. And there's senior people in all of these businesses, right? It's really interesting how everyone is willing to support regardless of the T-shirt you wear. And I think that makes it better. And for me, if someone said to me, you can't talk to those people, that team or whatever, that wouldn't want to be somewhere where I'd want to work, right? So for me, it's about working with the right people and using that network and everything else to kind of raise the industry And what you find is some of those businesses that have come in the industry that maybe haven't subscribed to that and have been quite solo, haven't always lasted. There's a couple I can think of where they very much went at it and they're like, we don't want to talk to anyone else, we're doing our own thing. And they didn't
Plenty of
last.
those.
Yeah. And what I've got from that is it seems like us accountant bookkeepers made the tribalism by ourselves.
Yeah, we kind of invented it, unfortunately.
Yeah. And also, look, let's be honest, if I get to know people really well and they like me, they're more likely to let me into the after party as well. Which is always
Well,
nice.
yeah, there is that.
Yeah.
So you've talked a lot about your network and how you've built this community and everything else. Was the secret sauce social media? And if so, was it LinkedIn? Because you seem to have, you were one of the pioneers, put it that way, of kind of grabbing that social network by its horns and trying to make it different to relevant, right?
Phil is, though, also the controversial weekly host of Sunday Funday.
Yeah.
Which
Exactly.
some people kind of say, this belongs on Facebook. I don't believe it belongs on Facebook. I believe it belongs exactly where it is at 9:45 on a Sunday morning on LinkedIn. But
honestly, that started because I think I was scrolling one morning in bed after a Grand Prix and no one was putting
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and no one was putting anything interesting on Facebook in the morning. LinkedIn in the mornings on a Sunday. I was like, oh, I see a market. Yeah, look, social media has been huge for me, but actually, it's almost the other way around. I saw that it was a place where accountants were working and talking.
Okay.
And so I gravitated there before other people because I was like, actually, that means that I've got a whole market of places that I can easily sell to people.
You'll be on the pulse, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I can start to learn, I can get insight. So I can see what you're posting and go, oh, actually, Aaron's saying that. That's really exciting. That's really interesting. Or Tim's saying that. Oh, okay, that's something that's quite cool. And that kind of gravitated me there. And then I started to realize, actually, when I got comfortable doing it, and that's the tricky one, right? Because you're always repping a brand. I'm me, but I've got the big brand behind me, right?
Yeah.
So I have to be.
But then you're your own brand as well.
Yeah. Look, I think you've always got to be careful, right? You can't be bigger than the brand you work for, and if you are, then it's a mistake, right?
Yeah.
And I never want to be bigger than any brand I work for. What I want to do is be able to take me and put me into what I do to enhance everything and raise that story, right? And I just found that LinkedIn was a great place to do that. I built a network pretty quick. I realized it was a really powerful tool if used right. And then I saw other people doing the same thing. And then I started to train and talk to people. And I did some talks at Accountex on it. And then I stopped doing it because I realized then everyone was copying me. Everyone was doing this. Everyone was doing what I was doing. It became harder for me to do it. And I'm like, damn it, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to stop telling people my
There's
secret.
some trade secrets you need to keep.
Yeah. Look, when I used to eat KFC, we all love KFC simply because of the special sauce, right?
Yeah.
And if you could make that at home, you wouldn't go to KFC anymore because you don't go there for the service or the atmosphere or the clientele, right?
Or the quality of the chicken, actually.
Or the quality of the chicken. You go there for the crispy coating. The moment you make that at home, you don't need to go to KFC. But no, seriously, I just found it was a really powerful platform, somewhere really interesting to operate, and therefore I gravitated to it, and I saw that it was a big hub for accountants.
Love that. Do you want to talk about Silverfin? That's where we are in the journey now.
Yeah, so I first really met Phil when Phil was at Silverfin.
Yeah, we did. You were kind of late to.
I came late to the Phil Hobden party. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I missed out on so much.
You missed out on the drink and meat eating, Phil.
Even though I was a Featurely customer when you were at Featurely, but clearly
controversial.
You know what I mean?
Early days.
Ooh.
He was still
Early
learning
days.
how to say it. Let him mind.
That was it.
Yeah. Phil was learning how to spell it.
Honestly, on the X-rated,
He still hasn't learned how to spell it.
on the X-rated version of this podcast, I'll tell you all the different names that people said that it was called. Some of them were quite spicy.
So, but that was, at the time, that was like bang on trend, right? Take out a couple of vowels, stick an I on the end, you've got bang.
Absolutely. Put an F at the beginning. Always had to have an F if it was reporting.
So, Silverfin, interesting, right? Because not everyone will agree with me on this, but I think Silverfin occupies a very unique part of the market because so we use two solutions for year-end accounts, right? We use Sage, Business Cloud, the free year-end accounts, and we use Silverfin. We use Silverfin for the majority of our clients. And after that, you're into Thomson Reuters or KPM or all that kind of level territory. And Silverfin, I feel, is like the only one that can kind of cover that middle ground, but also it feels like it's scalable enough that I should not have to move, right?
100%.
And I feel like that's the interesting positioning of Silverfin. So you weren't at Silverfin for that long, you did get to wear a fishing jacket at events a few times.
I mean, and the infamous prison suit.
And the
So
infamous prison suit.
I did a couple of contracts, 6-month contracts there. One to help with the product team. Interestingly, going back to your point earlier, what do I know about product? The answer is not a great deal, but what do I know about commercializing a product? And actually a lot. So actually, when you're coming in to look at a product from a commercial perspective, it's actually quite different. It's busy in London today. Sirens. It's what happens when you are in central London. You get. I'm surprised we haven't had a helicopter go over yet.
We did.
Oh, did we? Oh, amazing! I didn't notice that. So, and then I did 6 months helping get the GTM right, and then I was kind of at a point where like I was, what did I want to do next?
Yeah.
And actually, that's ironically when I got talking to Helen, and she'd kind of talked to me about what she was doing here at Sage and what the vision was for the business. And I at that point I was like, I need to find a forever home. To me, there was a great opportunity here to do something that kind of pulled together the network, a network of accountants, a network of vendors, all the different elements that I've been working on through my career. I could bring them all into one place and kind of execute. And I think that was the exciting thing. But I loved, like the year I did at Silverfin was really interesting. I learned a hell of a lot that year.
Good. And then you've probably, I assume, learned a hell of a lot since pitching up at Sage.
Oh my God. It's, yeah, I mean, the thing about Sage that you learn when you're here for even for a little bit is you learn that there are so many people, and so many people that can help and support. And I've been used to in so many businesses running by myself, and here there's loads of experts that are phenomenal. Like our comms team are first class, our social media team are first class, all the teams I interact with, marketing, everyone I interact with on a daily basis, they're real first-class people. And that's kind of cool because it just ups your game a little bit, because actually you have to be better, you have to be slicker, you have to execute better. You're executing to a higher standard. When you're working for a smaller fintech, you can get away with some rough edges. Actually, here we have to kind of make sure that we don't have that. So actually, from a personal perspective, I've learned probably more in these 10, 11 months than I have done in a long time. And that's part of the appeal of being here.
Yeah.
But also getting to work with a couple of people that I've worked with before, people like Chris that I've known for years, and I can loop right back to my Futurely days. And right, there's loads of people throughout this business that I've worked with in one way or another. So it kind of feels like it's the right place. And add to that at the point where we're building a really interesting product. The market's in a really interesting place. You've got AI coming along. MTD is just landing and spinning its wheels up. And I think it's like, actually, now's a really good time to kind of, because for anyone out there was thinking like the war was won and like the software was decided. Actually, I think it's all wide open.
Yeah,
it is.
massively.
Now's a really good time to be the most exciting thing you could possibly be, which is a bookkeeper or an accountant, or a software vendor in the bookkeeping and accounting space. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
But just to get in the sector, it's more fun and more exciting and more interesting than people think it is, right?
Because we obviously had the cloud boom, didn't we? And that was interesting times, and we all kind of picked our battles and everything else. But
and there was winners and losers, as there always are in these things.
100%. But this is you're right. This is definitely that next big boom, right? And we've got a whole magnitude of elements that are running through it. And I think just being involved in that race is going to be really, really exciting. So what is your role now then? Talk to us.
Just on that race, by the way, like you say, cloud was X amount of years ago. Like there are still firms out there that like aren't fully embracing that.
Many
right?
firms as well.
So the interesting thing is, part of the really interesting challenge is how do you balance the future, super future tech, right? Because we're now like 2 or 3, like we've gone from cloud to agentic AI. Whew. Like, how do you bridge that together? And that's one of the biggest challenges right now. I love that, by the way.
Yeah.
My role, so I'm working on customer advocacy, which is kind of what it sounds right. Like my job is to help the business access people that haven't looked at Sage in a while and get them to kind of look again. And how we do that through events or through getting you guys in to talk to our product team, or one-to-one lunches, or kind of breakfast with our CEO here, like whatever that is, right? And it's a massively open toolkit. That's what I'm here to do, is just to kind of bring that network and kind of, I guess, that kind of almost neutrality that I've always had where people do talk to me, whichever side, and kind of bring them in to kind of understand a little bit more about what we're doing, to look again. Because I
Yeah.
think when I speak to a lot of people and you go, when was the last time you looked at what we did? So many are like, oh, what, 3-4 years ago?
Yeah.
My
Or
God.
10, 12 years
Or
ago.
10, 12 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And the industry's moved on so much, and we've moved on so much. So I think actually, I genuinely think I've got one of the most exciting jobs in the industry, right? Like my job is to get people to advocate for what we do.
Yeah.
And that's like posting on
That is
social
a cool job.
Yeah, posting on social media or buying a product ultimately, or coming to an event where maybe they wouldn't have come to an event before, or actually going, I know use your software and I'm actually proud to come on camera and talk about what you guys are doing, as we've got someone doing in a couple of weeks. That for me is so cool.
Yeah.
Because that's where like you get to start to see that change, and that like people kind of going, actually and I've seen it in the last 2 years. One of the reasons I wanted to join Sage is it's like just that feeling of the industry changing and the perception changing.
Yeah.
Right? And then when you put that together and you really drive that through, I think that becomes a really exciting place to be. So to do an exciting job in an exciting company and work with someone that I used to work with and I love working with, I mean, why would you say no, right?
Exactly.
100%. Yeah.
And also I get to work here, which
Hey,
is none
which-
too
yeah,
shabby,
it's
as
not
they
too
say.
I don't think you won't get bored of it quickly.
There's 15 food places down there.
And like the skyline is always like evolving at the moment as well. Like there's always something going on, right? There's a new building going up. There's another one coming down. You can never get bored in this location.
And we're not even in the summer yet. And like, so this is going to come
Insane,
alive in the summer,
insane.
right? So yeah, it's very cool.
Definitely. Okay, so what I really like about what you're saying there, and what kind of gets me excited about this role, because I think you're right. I think you've got a really, really exciting like role that you've got, but it feels like you've kind of said it before, like you're building into all of your skill sets that you've already got, including all the way back down to the film, right?
Yeah, 100%.
You know, you're kind of utilizing that skill set. It's like you've built up to this moment, right? And this is
Do you know what? It genuinely feels like that. It genuinely feels like I look at it and I go, there's so many different elements from all those different parts of my life that I
Yeah.
can just pull a little bit in from here and there.
Yeah, 100%. And it almost feels like to me, and tell me if I got this wrong, but it feels like you're not the one that's looking to get the new to franchise, but you're almost looking at the ones to go back to the franchise, right? And come back to there. And that's such a really, really difficult concept. And that's a real skill set you need, right? To get people to...
Yeah, to bring people back when they've left.
Yeah.
Yeah, or when or even worse, when people haven't left, but they've just kind of languished.
Yeah, they're gonna.
Yeah, or they've just languished. They've just
Right.
like they haven't they've still got holdings or stuff in there, but actually they've kind of using other things as well. And it's
They've quite quit your software, basically.
yeah. And so I think, and look, it's a huge market to go after, and it is hard. It's a hard ask, right? But what makes that really easy, or makes it easier, is that we're developing a good product. Like we've got a really good story. I mean, I think personally, the fact we've been in the UK for 44 years, we're a British company, our software is built up in Newcastle. I always joke, it's a terrible joke. I always joke that our AI is built in Newcastle, so therefore it should be called YA.
I'm gonna go home.
I was just going to jump.
My northern dad joke, but so I think we overlook that, right?
Yeah,
Like we overlook
yeah.
the story of the business, and I think actually being in that with a great product is just asking people to look again and just say, hey, do you know what? You haven't looked at us for a while. There's no harm in looking. So have a look, get the vibe of what we're doing and where we're going, and then make that decision. But make it based on what you know now, not what you knew then.
And I think one of that things that's going to make your job easier is that you're in a firm or a software company that's not afraid to do disruptive things. Like, I'm really excited by this whole idea of this, embedded solution. So for anyone who doesn't know, that's, basically in a simple way, it's that Sage inside your bank, right? And the accounting and bookkeeping industry, as always, are divided on, is that a good thing or a bad thing? But actually, who cares? It's disruption, right? Like, when was the last time we saw disruption like it? And that, for you, is going to be really helpful, right?
I love it. I mean, the embedded services thing is so exciting because I think it's a massive opportunity. I think for accountants and for businesses, but I also think it's a really smart play. Like why only bring software in one or two channels, right? Like, people are using banks, and in a lot of cases they're using software that's not great because of that. Like there's been some great innovations in that space over the years where banks have tried to be banks and accounting software at the same time, but very rarely does it work, right? Very rarely. So actually bringing a first-class bank together with first-class technology, it's a win. And there are people that have different points of views and opinions on it, but what we're saying is actually this is where we're going to disrupt, and this is where we're going to be different. And on the top end, when you look at Sage Intacct, right, that's another disruptive product that's disrupting in a different area. We're launching a new version of it which is much more template driven, which brings the setup and those kind of sides of it, the cost lower. So now you can get this kind of enterprise, almost enterprise level, mid-tier solution for actually quite a competitive price. And it's not all price driven, by the way, but again, it's another way to disrupt another slice of the market. Then you look at what we're doing with some of the AI stuff in kind of our core sector. Yes, everyone's doing stuff with AI, but actually, how do you disrupt that? So yeah, I think Sage is disruptive, and I think people overlook that because we are seen as this business has been around 44 years, that's quite traditional. But actually, the thing that's astounded me more than anything in this business, genuinely, I walked in and I was like, oh, a bit of a slower pace than maybe I'm used to. Whew.
Rapid.
Honestly, I have never worked at such a pace in my entire life, and that's including like at Futurely when we just started out, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
Sage works at that kind of pace, but with a whole machine behind it. And I love that because every day you're innovating, you're doing something different, you're kind of finding new envelopes and areas to push. Like some of the stuff we're doing with carbon accounting, I think phenomenal, right? And no one else is doing that. And our team, Aaron and everyone else there, are leading a fantastic charge on that. That's a disruptive product again, and that's going to make such a difference, right? And no one is really doing it in that way. And we were well ahead of that curve. And that's a product, by the way, that works with other software. So it's not just works with Sage. Actually, we've gone, and actually we're same with a lot of our software, right? It's quite disruptive to buy something like Futurely, which was inherently tied to another ledger, and go, actually, we're still going to offer that, but now we're going to offer it more with Sage as well, right?
And buy an auto entry, right? That was,
So we're not afraid to be disruptive.
Yeah.
And I think people sometimes have overlooked that. And I think it's one of the most exciting things about what we're doing.
100%.
I think so. I think to that point, it's very interesting to note. I always want to ask you guys when we see people from Sage, how you feel about the fact that every other developer will build their integration to Xero, their integration to QuickBooks, maybe their integration to Free Agent, and then they just don't bother with Sage. That's got to be annoying, right? Does that not get on your nerves a little bit? Because from what I understand, the Sage API now is actually the new version. Quite simple to integrate with.
Yeah.
Quite straightforward.
So we've brought in someone who's got a lot of industry knowledge to manage that process, right? And I think that's one of his focuses is to improve that. What I will say, right, I think there's a huge opportunity for us around there. Okay. It's also a huge risk. What you don't want is like a Google App Store type marketplace, right? Where you've got a load of stuff that anyone could build, anyone can chuck it in. There's 1,000 knockoffs of other products, right? I don't think you want that. I think you've got to keep it. I quite like having a curated marketplace. So actually there's some real best-in-class solutions with some innovative solutions as well.
Yeah.
I think if I could write a blank bit of paper, what I'd love to see is us work with solutions at very early stages and bring them in to working with us early on, so we get that kind of exciting technology really early doors. If we could do that, that's really cool. That's really cool.
And they could get the expertise of you guys, right? That's where everyone wins from this.
Yeah,
isn't it?
absolutely. And then obviously, go and roll out to other software, right? But why couldn't we pioneer that? And why couldn't we be supporting businesses right at the beginning? Because you're right, it is definitely an area that can be a frustration for some. But I think that makes it an opportunity, and we've definitely got to focus in the business on that. And I think that story will evolve.
Love that.
But like I say, I think it should be far more curated than just that scattershot Google App Store approach.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
And I really, what got me excited or got me thinking then was you were talking about how the pace of change was so incredible here. Yet that surprises me in a way, because I've heard nothing but positivity about people who've moved from one vendor to another vendor, you know, and they've come to here and they're so much more happier. And you would have thought, like, you know, outside looking in, when he said that to me, I was like, oh, well, must be because you go in there and it's a bit of an easier time for you or whatever right now. But it seems like, no, you're all motivated, right? But you're all better, you know, you're feeling better, you're feeling like there's definitely a culture here that's a positive one.
Yeah, culture's great. Like, it genuinely is. And like, we've brought some amazing people in just in the time I've been here, and there are some amazing people coming in over the next couple of months. And I think it just speaks to the fact that Sage genuinely has become an exciting place to work. And people are coming here because they see there's a huge opportunity.
It's almost cool.
Yeah, I know, right? We've become.
Now we've seen they've got the cool location.
We're becoming the cool place to be, and I'm down with that. I mean, I always think anytime I'm at somewhere, it instantly makes it slightly less cooler.
Phil, you've got to stop being mean about yourself.
Dad jokes and everything else. But no, I think there is a good culture here. We work hard and we push hard, and we are always striving to be better and striving to do more. And I think, like, if that wasn't the case, you'd see it. You would see it, right? Like,
Yeah.
And that culture doesn't always fit everyone, but certainly for me, I think, like, I definitely feel really happy here. I feel like I'm working with people I really like. I'm working in a business that I trust everyone in this business to make the right decisions. And yeah, I think it's really exciting. I think the next 12 to 24 to 48 months are going to be some of the most exciting this industry's seen in a long time. And I think we genuinely have got an opportunity to write a new chapter in a very kind of storied and amazing company's history.
Love that.
We're singing the sea.
Yeah, we definitely are. Last question for you, Tim.
Favourite biscuit?
Oh, that's a tough one. No, I'm going to do a pre-vegan and a post-vegan.
That's a curveball you didn't expect to come in.
I like that.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it, but do you know what? I'm glad that it did.
Because they are two different stories, right?
Of
so
course.
pre-vegan, it's going to have to be the classic chocolate hobnob.
Yeah.
Like, you can't. It's
But if
oats.
you'd have asked me what Phil Hobden's favourite biscuit was, I reckon I would have said hobnob. You know.
And are you dunking this?
And
hot
not just
dog?
for the name, by the way, because
No,
it's the same
no,
name.
they're
Like hobnob.
actually a
That's what I was
good-
called at school. But they're like they're
But are you
OT.
dunking it though, or are you?
No.
Just
I'm
pure.
raw.
Raw.
Raw dog in that
Just
one.
raw biscuits.
Didn't expect raw dog
Shit the
to
bed.
appear on this. Carry on.
Do we have to put this out after 9 p.m. now?
No. It's,
Well, I don't know.
It's
Like-
an allowable word. I
Yeah.
just did not expect it.
Yeah, I know, right? So I'm going raw on that one. Now, post-vegan,
Yes.
it's a vanilla Biscoff sandwich biscuit.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
Biscoff
those are
biscuit,
insane.
vanilla in the middle,
No, those are
Biscoff
insane.
in the bowl.
And there's
Bottom.
2 different flavours, right? You can buy them at like M&S or something. They're so
Yeah,
good.
because
They're
Biscoff's
so
vegan
good.
and the cream's vegan as well, right?
Yeah, and Biscoff
So-
is literally everywhere right now.
Yeah, so I always have
They're
to. Everything now
phenomenal.
is like PVG and or B. What is it? AVG and BVG. After vegan and before vegan. That was a long way to get to a very bad joke.
All right, Phil, let's get your crystal ball out. What do you feel like is going to be, you know, what impact do you want your role to be going forward? What's your end goal with this one?
I want in 5 years' time to look back and kind of have a sea of new voices and new advocates singing the story of Sage, right?
Yeah.
Almost to the point where a lot of what I do on social media and podcasts and stuff like that isn't needed, where actually we don't need to advocate for the product because other people are doing it really well for us. Like, if I can get to a point where, like, literally I don't have, not I have to because I love doing it, but I'm not like, I don't have to do podcasts or webinars or stuff like that.
Doesn't have to do podcasts.
You know what I'm saying?
He's going to drop the mic and walk out.
But because actually there are so many people out there talking about us and, and what we do and advocating our story, that actually that's a much more powerful message. Because look, I can sit and I can wax lyrical about why I like being here. But I'm not an accountant, right? My opinion counts to a point from my experience of being here, but it's limited, right? But actually, if you and 1,000 other people are out there talking about us on social media, talking to other accountants about us on our socials, singing our story, actually then I've known I've done a good job, and then I know I've actually, we've got to where we want to be. So ultimately that would be my dream, to
Love that.
in the nicest way, not have to do this kind of thing, because actually other people are doing it for me.
But then you will still do this kind of
Oh,
thing.
of course,
right?
because I love the sound of my own voice,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'll do the fun one.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That has been our Cool Friends episode. Now, first, before I give you a chance to do your plug, so figure out what you want to plug.
Oh.
We've got to evaluate the first ever Cool Friends episode by Tim. Yeah. So what would you give him out of 10?
He'll give me a 3. You watch. Give me a 3.
I think I think you've done a pretty solid job here. I think you've asked some good questions. I think you've been a bit probing. You've been quite
I've been
relaxed.
really struggling with the glare in my eyes because it's not even sunny today. But it's
I know,
just
right?
like,
Can you imagine what it's going to be like in the middle of summer?
No, in the summer it'll be all right. I think it's that glare that you get on
Yeah.
a cloudy day sometimes, where it's not bright, but it's just
I'm going to
bright.
give you,
Yeah.
considering this is your first one, I'm going to give you a solid 8.4.
Oh,
I'll
that's a good
take
score.
8.4.
That's a
I
good
think
score.
I'm satisfied with that.
That's
yeah.
a
That's
score.
in my house. That's a score of a good risotto.
That's a pretty good.
Yeah.
My wife always asks me to rate the food, and I'm like I never ever
That's
give
a trap, Phil. Don't ever
no, but
reply.
I never ever give above an 8.9.
Oh.
Do you know why?
Oh.
Because then it will never get better.
Yeah.
Someone once told me.
Always strive for that extra point.
Because
right?
you want seriously, secretly, you just want it to keep getting better.
Yeah, and every time it does, so I'm struggling. I've now got to 8.99 as my next score. I'm going to have to break the 9 barrier at some point.
No, you have to have somewhere to go. About 25 years ago, someone told me that he'd been out for lunch. He came back and he said that on the tube on the way back, he'd just seen the second most attractive girl in the world. And I was like, how do you know she's the second most attractive? He was like, it's always the second most attractive girl, boy, man, woman, whatever, right? Second most attractive person in the world, because there's always room for improvement. You might find a more attractive person, and if you've called them the most attractive person in the world,
You can't go anywhere.
you've got nowhere to
That-
go.
that's
So
the
if you give
risotto.
risotto a 10,
Yeah. Where
then
do you
you
go from
start
there?
getting silly and you start giving it like 13 out of 10.
Yeah,
and things,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So as if you give the risotto the 9, the 8.99 of the 9, there might be a better risotto
I see the
somewhere.
logic. I see the
Yeah.
logic. Yeah.
That was his logic.
Yeah. I always strive to be better.
Strive to be better. Well, Phil, on that note, you got that camera. Plug, and plug away.
So look, I guess the only plug I will make is, well, 2 plugs actually. One on a Sunday. Don't forget to check LinkedIn at 9:45 for the film post because it does create somewhat controversy. But no, being genuine. My ask is this, and it's really simple, right? Think about what you need from your practice. Think about what the technology you're using is giving you and what it's not. And then think about the last time you looked at what we're doing and just go, actually, when was the last time we looked at Sage? Because if it wasn't a year ago or 6 months ago even, right? We've moved on, we've changed. So now's a brilliant time with everything that's going on in the industry, with MTD, with AI, with e-invoicing coming down the line and carbon accounting and all of this. Now's a great time to start looking once again at what you're doing and why you're doing it. And I would just say put us into that evaluation because the product has moved on, the people have moved on, and actually, as a business, I asked this question the other day and I think it's really good. How many vendors were up till midnight on self-assessment day supporting their clients? There were 2 phone lines that were open, HMRC because they had to be, and Sage, right? Like that's how much we back our customers and we're there to support. And I think if you match that with a great product and a great time in the industry, it's absolutely the right time to look again. So just look again. And if I can help you in any way to do that, just reach out because I'm always happy to have a conversation.
100%.
And what Phil probably didn't realise is that you are actually allowed to plug things for your own commercial gain at the end of this podcast. So don't forget that Phil also wrote a book.
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, Popcorn MBA, available on Amazon. There you go. As a digital
Link
title.
in the description, link in the description.
Yeah, it's fine. But no, look, genuinely, look, for me, it's just look again at what you're using and why you're using it. And actually, now's a great time to reevaluate. So do that. And thanks, gents. It's been an absolute pleasure being on the podcast. It's taken forever, but I'm so glad we waited.
Thanks for inviting us to Sage London.
Sage HQ, right?
Amazing. What a place. And hopefully we'll get to come back one day.
Anytime. I mean, you didn't leave a mess on the carpet, and you didn't spill any drinks.
No,
yeah,
no,
anyway, we've got to get
no
out, yeah.
whipsy on the carpet, no spilled drinks. Well, not quite.
Well, yeah.
Nobody got locked in the stairs. Oh, wait.
And I have that video.
Hey.
But Phil, I think from behalf of the industry, I think a lot of people would want to thank you for being so supportive to the vendor community. You've been an absolute gent, and I feel like we did the right thing. We've waited to have you on the Cool Friends episode so you could get into your final form, and I think that's
I love that.
I think that's the poetic way that we should be ending this, right? That you're here, you're on the thing. We get to share your story. Hopefully, everyone's enjoyed the story. Hopefully, everyone's seen that the Cool Friends is back without our normal location, but we'll figure that out. But do let us know in the comments below. Like, we're not using our normal setup. Can you tell? Do you care?
There's a slightly different setup. There's a slightly different co-host. There's a slightly different location. We're slightly outside. It might be about to slightly rain.
But the calibre of guest is
The calibre
on
of guest
par.
is as usual. Just gets better every time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Thanks, gents. I genuinely appreciate it.
Anytime. If you like this content, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that sort of stuff, because we are Ask the Accountant, and this has been a Cool Friends episode of Cool Friends variety, and we can't wait to be able to get more content your way. Thanks to Patrons, you'll get to see this first. So if you want to see this before everyone else, you should come along to our little Patreon. Phil, last word from you.
Thank you. It's been great. No, genuinely, it's been great, and it's an industry I love, and I will carry on supporting forever, because you meet some amazing people. I've met some amazing people in this industry, and I hope to meet many, many more.
I was hoping only this one, but the mic drop. I'm joking.